At the center of events is journalist Rowena Price, who is used to uncover the most high-profile and shocking stories. Her next investigation begins when she learns about the mysterious death of her friend Grace Clayton. The girl is sure that her death is not accidental and has a connection with a powerful figure in the world of advertising, influential businessman Harrison Hill. Grace says that she had an affair with this man, but when their relationship ended, Hill suddenly stopped all communication and destroyed all traces of their correspondence. Rowena suspects that he may be involved in the tragedy. She decides to infiltrate Hill's inner circle to gather evidence. She is assisted by her colleague and longtime friend Miles Haley, who has outstanding computer skills. Miles creates a new identity for Rowena as Katie Jones, a young woman looking for a job with Hill's advertising company. Under this name, Rowena successfully passes her interview and is placed there, where she is to run the game against Hill without giving herself away. At her first meeting with Hill, Rowena notices his charisma and ability to charm those around him. Although Hill appears charming and confident, his attractive appearance hides a cold calculation and rigidity. He quickly notices the new employee and begins to show interest in her, which causes tension. Rowena realizes that she must be extremely careful not to give away her true intentions. Alongside her office work, she continues her investigation. Miles hacks into Hill's email server and Rowena finds traces of deleted correspondence with Grace. These emails reveal that Grace was indeed emotionally involved with Hill, while he, on the other hand, behaved in a detached and calculating manner. Furthermore, in one of the letters, Grace threatened Hill with revealing their affair. This confirms Rowena's suspicions that Hill had a motive to silence her. Meanwhile, Hill begins to grow closer to Rowena. He invites her to dinner, where a tense dialogue takes place between them. Hill is clearly testing her, trying to find out more about Katie, but Rowena keeps her cool and skillfully dodges his questions. She notices that Hill is used to keeping control in any situation, and that makes him an even more dangerous adversary. One day Miles informs Rowena that he has found strange entries on a hard drive associated with Hill. Among them is information about several other women who have disappeared under suspicious circumstances. This discovery reinforces Rowena's belief that Hill is not as harmless as he wants to appear. However, Miles begins to behave strangely. He increasingly hints at his feelings for Rowena, which embarrasses her. She tries to keep her distance, focusing on the investigation. Tension builds when Hill invites Rowena to a private party where only selected employees and partners of the company are present. It's a chance for her to get closer to him and gather more information, but it's also extremely risky at the same time. At the party, Hill behaves especially persistently. His interest in Katie becomes noticeable to those around him. He invites her to his office, where he tries to flirt, but Rowena evades, maintaining a semblance of professionalism. Soon Miles informs her that he has found a connection between Hill and the former victims. This discovery confirms his involvement in shady dealings. However, Rowena begins to suspect that Miles is not telling her something. His behavior becomes increasingly obsessive. He tries to control her actions, claiming that only he can protect her. This causes Rowena anxiety, and she decides to deal with Hill on her own. Rowena meets with Hill again, but this time their conversation takes an unexpected turn. Hill begins to hint that he knows about her past. He mentions stories that could only be known to someone very close to her. This makes Rowena question. Perhaps he has long been aware of who she really is. The situation escalates, and Rowena realizes that she is playing a dangerous game where the stakes are too high. The climax comes when Rowena finds indisputable evidence linking Hill to Grace's murder. But suddenly her plans are disrupted by Miles, who admits he's always been around for a reason. He reveals his true feelings and claims to have done everything so she could solve the case. However, his behavior becomes increasingly frightening. He declares that only he is capable of truly understanding and protecting her. Miles turns out to be more complex and dangerous than she thought. In the final scene, Rowena confronts Miles in a dramatic confrontation where the truth comes out. Turns out that Grace didn't die at the hands of Hill at all. The real culprit is Miles, whose obsession with Rowena led to fatal consequences. He eliminated Grace because she threatened to expose his dark side. Miles tried to direct Rowena's investigation against Hill to divert attention away from himself. Gathering all her courage, Rowena confronts Miles and he fails to carry out his plan. In the climax, he is exposed and Rowena emerges from the story surviving, but shaken by how far people can go in their obsession and lust for control.